The village of Kanu slept, huts huddled together dark against the vast African sky. A sliver of moon hung low, casting long, eerie shadows. This was the edge of the world. The wild whispered just beyond the flickering cooking fires. The air, thick with the scent of wood smoke and dust, vibrated with the night. Crickets chirped. Somewhere a hyena called. This was the symphony of Kanu, a lullaby as old as time itself. The people knew the song. They lived it. They breathed it. The villagers of Kanu lived in harmony with the land. They respected the creatures of the savannah. They knew the dangers that lurked in the shadows, but they also knew the land provided. It was their home. Dawn broke over Kanu, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold. A new day was born, but with the light came a growing unease. Something was wrong. The whispers started subtly. A missing goat here, a stray cow there. Then the whispers grew louder. More animals vanished. The villagers gathered, their faces etched with worry. These were their livelihoods. Their very survival depended on these animals. Fear began to grip the village. It spread like a virus, silent and invisible. At first, they suspected poachers, men driven by greed with no respect for the sacred balance of nature. The villagers organized patrols, their eyes scanning the horizon. They carried spears and machetes, tools of their ancestors. Then came a gruesome discovery. The mutilated carcass of a prized bull lay sprawled in the tall grass. Its eyes, wide with terror, stared blankly at the heavens. Claw marks, deep and savage, raked across its flanks. This was no ordinary predator. No lion, no leopard could inflict such wounds. Fear turned to dread. The villagers huddled around the carcass, their faces ashen. This was something different, something sinister. An icy hand seemed to grip their hearts. This was not the work of man or beast. This was something ancient, something evil. The elders, their faces lined with years of wisdom and worry, spoke in hushed tones. The village elder, his face a roadmap of time, stepped forward. His every wrinkle told a story, each line a testament to the years he had witnessed and the wisdom he had gathered. His voice, raspy with age, commanded respect. It was a voice that had weathered countless storms, a voice that had seen the rise and fall of many moons. He spoke of an old legend, one that had been passed down through generations, a tale that was as old as the village itself, a story that had shaped their very existence, a story whispered around campfires and feared in hushed tones. It was a tale that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it, a legend that was both a warning and a lesson. He spoke of the Lion of Shadows, a name that evoked both awe and terror, a creature that was the stuff of nightmares, a creature born of darkness and despair. It was said to emerge from the deepest shadows, a being that thrived in the absence of light. A lion, yes, but not of this world. It was a phantom, a spectre that defied the natural order, a beast that was more shadow than flesh, a being of malevolence. Shrouded in shadow, its eyes burning with an unholy fire. Those who gazed into its eyes saw their deepest fears reflected back at them. The creature, he explained, was not a natural being. It was a curse, a manifestation of the darkest desires and the most twisted ambitions. Long ago, a power-hungry shaman had summoned it. Driven by greed and a thirst for power, he had delved into forbidden rituals. He sought to use its power for his own gain. He believed he could control the beast, bend it to his will, and use it to dominate his enemies. But the lion, once unleashed, could not be controlled. It was a force of nature, a wild and untamable entity that answered to no one. The shaman, consumed by his own creation, became its first victim. His hubris had led to his downfall, and the lion had turned on him with a vengeance. Now the Lion of Shadows roamed the savannah. It was a ghostly presence, a predator that moved silently through the night. It fed on fear and despair, growing stronger with each kill. The more terror it spread, the more powerful it became. It was a harbinger of chaos, a destroyer of peace. Wherever it went, it left a trail of destruction and sorrow, a reminder of the darkness that lurked in the hearts of men. Among the villagers stood Kofi, a young herdsman, his heart heavy with dread. He was a familiar face in the village, known for his bravery and his unwavering dedication to his people and their way of life. He had heard the whispers of the Lion of Shadows since he was a boy. The stories were told around the fire, tales of a beast that roamed the night, a creature of legend that brought fear to the hearts of even the bravest warriors. Now the legend was real, and it threatened everything he held dear. The lion had been sighted near the village, its presence a dark omen that cast a shadow over their lives. Kofi was known for his courage and his deep connection to the land. He had grown up tending to the cattle, learning the ways of the Savannah and understanding the delicate balance of nature. He felt the pain of each lost animal as if it were his own. The cattle were not just livestock, they were a part of the village's lifeblood, a symbol of their prosperity and survival. He knew he had to act. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on his shoulders, but he was determined to protect his people. He couldn't stand by and watch his world crumble. The village was his home, and its people were his family. He had to do something to stop the impending doom. He stepped forward, his eyes meeting the elders' gaze. The elders were the keepers of wisdom, and their approval was crucial for any significant action. "I will face this creature," he declared, his voice strong despite the tremor of fear that ran through him. His words were met with a mixture of admiration and concern. "I will protect our village." His resolve was clear, and his determination shone through his eyes. The elders, their faces etched with worry, tried to dissuade him. They spoke of the lion's power, its speed, its very essence being made of darkness. They recounted tales of those who had faced the beast and never returned. They spoke of the lion's power, its speed, its very essence being made of darkness. But Kofi was resolute. He listened to their concerns, but remained steadfast in his decision. He knew the risks, but he would not be deterred. The fear in his heart was real, but so was his courage. He had to confront the lion, not just for the village, but for his own sense of duty and honor. He owed this to his village, to his ancestors, to himself. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but Kofi's spirit was unbreakable. He would face the lion of shadows, and he would do it with the strength and bravery that defined him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues, Kofi prepared himself. He checked his spear, its point honed to a razor's edge. He strapped his father's hunting knife to his waist, its handle worn smooth with time. He entered the heart of the savannah, the tall grass whispering around him like phantoms. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and the musk of wild animals. The moon, a sliver of silver in the inky sky, offered little comfort. With every rustle in the undergrowth, every screech of a night bird, Kofi's grip tightened on his spear. He pushed on, his fear a constant companion, urging him forward. He would face his destiny, whatever it may be. Section 7, face to face with fear. The night seemed to crack open. There, bathed in the pale moonlight, stood the Lion of Shadows, its eyes burning embers in the darkness, locked onto Kofi. Terror, cold and paralyzing, gripped him. It was unlike any lion Kofi had ever seen. Larger, more powerful, its coat the color of midnight. Tendrils of shadow seemed to writhe around its body, whispering of another realm. The very air crackled with its power. Kofi raised his spear, his heart pounding against his ribs. He knew this was a fight he could not win, but he would face this creature. He would defend his home. Section 8. The roar echoes. The Lion of Shadows moved with unnatural speed, a blur of darkness against the night. Kofi barely had time to react, thrusting his spear forward with all his might. The lion swiped, its claws tearing through the air where Kofi had stood a moment before. He threw himself to the side, rolling across the rough ground as the lion's roar shook the very foundation of the world. Kofi scrambled back to his feet, his heart pounding in his chest. The lion circled him, its eyes never leaving his. He was trapped alone in the darkness with a creature born of nightmares. Section 9. A spear broken. The Lion of Shadows attacked once again. This time, Kofi was ready. He met the lion's charge head-on, his spear finding its mark. The spearhead struck the creature's shoulder, but instead of drawing blood, the spear shattered. Splintered wood flew through the air as the lion roared in defiance. Kofi lay on his back, the wind knocked out of him, staring up at the creature that loomed over him. The lion stood over him, its hot, fetid breath washing over him. Kofi closed his eyes, waiting for the final blow, but it never came. Section 10. The Reign of Shadows. Kofi opened his eyes, the weight of the night still pressing heavily on his chest. The air was thick with the remnants of fear, and the first light of dawn did little to chase away the darkness that clung to his thoughts. The Lion of Shadows was gone, its presence now a haunting memory. The savannah, usually teeming with life, felt eerily silent, as if the land itself was holding its breath. Vanished back into the darkness from which it came, the creature left behind an unsettling stillness. The stars above seemed dimmer, the night sky less welcoming, as if the very fabric of the world had been altered by its presence. He slowly got to his feet, his body aching, his mind reeling. He had survived, but at what cost? Every muscle screamed in protest, and his thoughts were a chaotic whirl of fear and confusion. The encounter had left him more than just physically battered, it had shaken him to his core. He stumbled back towards the village, the broken spear held tightly in his hand. Each step was a struggle, the weight of his ordeal pressing down on him. The spear, once a symbol of protection, now felt like a fragile reminder of his narrow escape. He told his tale, his voice trembling, his eyes haunted by the memory of the creature he had faced. The words came slowly, each one a painful reminder of the terror he had endured. The villagers gathered around him, their faces a mix of fear and disbelief. The villagers listened in stunned silence, the gravity of his words sinking in. They had heard stories of the Lion of Shadows, but to hear it from someone who had faced it and lived was something entirely different. The elders examined the broken spear, their faces grave. They knew the significance of the broken weapon, a testament to the fierce battle that had taken place. Their concern was palpable, the weight of their responsibility heavy on their shoulders. They knew what this meant. The Lion of Shadows was not just a legend, it was a real and present danger. Their expressions were a mix of fear and determination, knowing that they had to prepare for what was to come. The Lion of Shadows was real. Its presence was a dark cloud hanging over the village, a constant reminder of the lurking danger. The villagers could feel it, a chill in the air, a sense of being watched. And it was still out there, lurking in the darkness, waiting to claim its next victim. The forest edge seemed darker, the shadows deeper, as if the land itself was conspiring to hide the creature. The roar that night was a warning, a chilling reminder that the reign of shadows had not ended but had only just begun. The sound echoed through the savannah, a promise of more terror to come. The reign of shadows had just begun. The villagers knew they had to be vigilant, to stand together against the darkness. The battle was far from over, and the Lion of Shadows would return. The savannah, once a place of life and light, was now a battleground, and the fight for survival had only just started.